Hello, I'm Teresa Peavy with the National Conference of Bar Presidents. Today, we're checking in with the president of the Connecticut Bar Association, Ndidi Moses. Ndidi, I know the Connecticut Bar Association has set up a task force to deal with the COVID-19 crisis, and we wanted to chat with you about that. But before we get started, I just want to ask, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy time, but it's been very empowering and very fulfilling actually working on the task force and other initiatives to help the state of Connecticut.
That's great, thank you. So tell us about what the Connecticut Bar Association has done in response to COVID-19.
So as you mentioned, we convened a task force to ensure that the CBA is able to respond to the needs of our community, both legal and non-legal, and get them through this crisis. The task force has 7 subcommittees. One is focusing on judicial issues and working as a liaison between the bar and the judicial branch. They're serving as a conduit to ensure that the needs of the community and the bar is met. And they make recommendations to the courts, both federal and state, regarding issues that they can be working on. Another committee is our Legislative and Executive Order Committee. They're working with the Governor's Office. In a similar vein as the other committee I mentioned earlier, they are working on executive orders, making recommendations, making suggestions, and making sure that the community's concerns are heard by the Governor's Office. Our third committee is our Legal Aid Committee. They're working with our legal aid organizations to make sure that the legal aid organizations' financing is continued to be funded, and to also make sure that any pro bono needs or issues they have that arise during this time are addressed by the larger bar and the community. Our fourth committee, the public at large, is working with the public at large. They're working on looking at issues that are impacting the entire state, all of the state's residents, and they're looking at different ways that we can address it. One program they're working on right now is a fundraiser for Food Cheer and other food organizations to make sure that people are able to eat in the state of Connecticut, just given all of the problems we've been having for the last couple of weeks. Our fifth committee is our Technology Committee and our Cybersecurity Committee. That committee is working at helping our members become virtual pretty much overnight and helping them bridge that technology gap that we sometimes have. At the same time, they're working with our members to make sure that their cybersecurity concerns are being addressed and that they're helping to protect their data so that they don't have any data breaches. We also have a Financial Impact Committee working with financial institutions and insurance companies to ensure that any of our solo and small firms and other large firms that are having financial difficulty during these times are aware of resources and ways that they can help address those concerns. And we also have a Legal Professions Committee. They're serving as a conduit between solo firms, law firms, and also other legal organizations to make sure that their voice is heard. And they're holding weekly town halls on various topics and issues through our solo and small firm section. And that's the general overview of our community. The task force is being chaired by 2 veterans of the Connecticut Bar, 2 past presidents, Monty Frank and Barbara Collins. They were both instrumental in helping the CBA through other crises over the last couple of years. And Dana Horelick is a former YLD chair, and she was very helpful with the ABA efforts during different natural disasters.
That's great. Now, I wanted to ask why you took this course and why you chose those 7 subcommittees.
Right, so we actually had a series of meetings with our executive committee, CBA staff, and also our ABA delegates, just trying to figure out how can we address the issues that we're hearing about and how can we be more effective and more efficient. So first thing we did was we created a website, and then we created the task force to help with the kind of corralling of all the resources. It just became very clear that there was a lot of need and there wasn't a central location for information and there wasn't an organized effort in the state. And to organize our efforts to make sure that we were maximizing resources and making sure we weren't duplicating efforts, especially in a time when swift action was so important, we decided that we needed to form a task force. Dan Schwartz, who also is our state delegate, encouraged it given what the ABA was doing with their task force. And just being so close to New York, which is the epicenter of this crisis right now, and bordering the state of New York on all sides, pretty much in other metropolitan areas, we just realized that the anxiety and fear of our members really needed a very strong response, and we needed to make sure that they felt secure and protected during this time.
Well, I think that's amazing. And I do know Monty, and I know that he is great at this kind of stuff. So that's great that you have him, and you also have Dana and the others who are helping out. Did you have trouble finding people to help out? And how do you make sure that all of the subcommittees are communicating with each other and not overstepping each other?
So we had actually no problems finding people. I will tell you that we actually had more people coming out to help than we had space for them. So we've been trying to find places for everyone who's been offering their resources. We have, at this point, almost every state bar association, whether specialty, local, or affinity, supporting us. We have the state courts, federal state agencies, healthcare entities, corporations, legal and non-legal professional organizations, all really joining forces to help in this effort. And we have weekly, sometimes bi-weekly task force meetings to make sure we're all on the same page. A lot of times we will be emailing with each other between meetings, trying to make sure that task force A is talking to task force B. Everyone, it's like a all hands on deck effort. Everyone is so willing and excited to work that we've been blessed so far that if there is some overlap, we've had task forces join together to address those overlaps.
Great. And I know it's only been a few weeks that you've had this, but are there any lessons that you've learned that along the way that you'd like to share?
So there are lots of lessons, and I am sure there's a whole lot more to come because there is no playbook for this and there is no precedent, and we are figuring it out as we go along. I always knew the CBA was staffed with some rock star employees, and I think that this experience has confirmed that for me. They were able to transfer our business online and go virtual pretty quickly. And they were able to launch a lot of programs with what appeared to be ease. It was a lot of work, but they made it look very easy. So I learned that, my suspicions were confirmed that our staff is pretty rock star. I was reminded that the state of Connecticut has some amazing, dedicated, and devoted residents. Many of whom are attorneys who are truly interested in making the lives of everyone in the state better. We're a small state, and maybe that makes us more agile and flexible, but our legal community, I've really begun to appreciate the power that they hold and how ahead of the curve they are on a lot of issues. Given the fact that there's no rule book here, I think that we've learned the importance of swift action and pooling our resources together, that we're much stronger together than we are apart. I think just the nature of the task force is making people feel very, very comfortable and more secure. We've learned to throw out ideas of pride and authorship and egos and needs to have our name in the lights. I think everyone realizes now that it's an all hands on deck approach. That typical need of lawyers to kind of know that something's going to work, I think, has been thrown out of the window. And I think it's allowed for creativity, a lot of bravery, and people willing to take chances, get it wrong, fix it, and get it right again. And I think that's really allowed us to do a lot of things that I never knew we could do in such a short period of time, quite frankly.
That is amazing. So if another bar leader wanted more information on what Connecticut is doing and how they got there, where should they go? And is there someone they should contact?
So they can contact the Connecticut Bar Association's executive director. They can contact me. We have on our website, we have tons of information regarding how to contact us. We actually have an email set up just to intake questions and comments from the community. And so I encourage people to go there and send us an email or call me or email anyone on the executive board or any of the task force leaders. And I also want to just point out that, we have right now, not only our task force going on, but we also have dedicated our upcoming issue of the Connecticut Lawyer, which is our magazine, to the pandemic. It's going to contain articles and resources and other information for people to help not get only their business back on track, but also their mind back on track. So we have wellness articles, and we also have important information for attorneys who are practicing in Connecticut. We have also on our website completed over 10 free CLEs for the public dedicated to this pandemic and helping people address their legal concerns. We've been able to get all those 10 CLEs created, developed, and online in the last 3 weeks. I also want to point out that we're going to be having more information up on the website. Right now, we have a social media campaign called hashtag Connecticut Bar Gets Through COVID-19, where we're encouraging people to share their experiences. And while it's focused on Connecticut, we encourage everyone to take a look at it. We're really trying to make this experience as palatable for everyone as possible. And I think the more that we can share our experiences, the more people realize, we're all going through the same thing. We're all in this together. And the more open we are and candid we are, I think the easier it will be to get through this time. We actually made our 19th Amendment scavenger hunt, which was an in-person scavenger hunt, virtual, to help parents get some relief from their children maybe during the day, give them a little activity to do. And that comes with prizes. And we're looking at other social media platforms and campaigns to get people's mind off of, what's going on, thinking about other stuff that's happening.
That's amazing. It sounds like Connecticut is doing everything right that a lot of other bars are trying to figure out. So I commend you for doing that. We're almost done, but is there anything else you wanted to share or comment on before we wrap up?
Yeah, so one thing, we are looking at meeting with other bars and talking to other bars. We definitely reached out to the ABA and let them know that we want to know what else we could be doing. I think that we're doing a lot, but I'm sure there's more that we can be doing. And we've been scouring the NCBP webpage to see what other bars are doing and try to figure out what we can add and how we can improve our program. So reach out to us, let us know what you're doing, what works. If you have any comments on our programs, we are looking at relaxing our hardship waivers for members, knowing that some people coming into the next bar year are probably not going to have the money up front to pay their membership dues. So we're looking at different ways we can restructure that to make it easier for our members to stay members, and we'd be interested in hearing what other bars are doing. We're also offering a free trial membership to anyone in the state to allow people who need to do legal research to do it. For free. We have a member benefit called Casemaker that allows our members to get free legal research. And just realizing that people don't have access to the state library now, we've opened that up, but we're also looking at other ways we can make it easier for people to access legal resources during this time period. So willing to listen to what other bars have planned and are doing, and willing to make any adjustments we have to during this time period.
Well, thank you so much, Ndidi. Thank you for sharing all of your resources, and we will post this so hopefully some other bars can work together with you and we can all get through this together, as you said. So we're about done. Thank you. Be well, stay safe, and thank you for all of your work on behalf of the bar.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Great talking to you.
You too. Talk to you later. Bye.